Tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Talk is here. It is ready. Sunday night wraps up. Me and Omar talk right at the end, almost end, of the Sunday night game. Chiefs, Broncos, the snoozer of the year game. Well, if you're familiar with the show, you know we don't just talk football. We go deep. We do a deep cut of winners and losers, our thoughts on the games. We effectively have to talk each other out of our depression. Both our teams lost. I want to write my team off. For some reason, Omar doesn't want me to. Well, give a listen. You'll see why. We're back after a week off last week, and we are shot out of a cannon. So you're going to want to listen to that. New to the show this week, a new game, a new segment, a new world even. You're going to have to listen to it and see. It's called Ask My Mom. Just give a listen. You'll see what I'm talking about. The Sunday Night Talk is here. Hey, if you are new to my YouTube channel, check out my other videos on there. My other videos are my show called Running It Back. It's a long-form interview show where I interview friends, colleagues, co-workers of my past, everybody. So check that out too. Where are you on the NFL this week? Is the season too long? Do we know anything? Is the season just starting? We don't know anymore. The NFL is the undiscovered country. But it's week 13, so that's all we got to talk about. So here it is. The Sunday Night Talk, week 13, me and Omar Carmona, right now. Sunday night, Omar Carmona is joining me. It's week 13. We took a break last week, but we are back and better than ever. Omar, I haven't talked to you like in 2 weeks since before Thanksgiving. First of all, we survived Thanksgiving somehow. I survived a hostile crowd.
Well, you know, when we decided not to do last week's show, I thought I treated it like this is our bye week.
Oh, that's fair.
Everyone else gets a bye week.
Totally fair. I had so many thoughts this last week about, well, actually I had a lot of thoughts. So I was like, yeah, we could do a show, but none of my thoughts were about football. I had to watch a Dallas Raiders Thanksgiving game in a hostile crowd. Nobody was on my side. I told you my dream is to one day be up 14 points in a game, and I achieved it. And everybody was not on my side, and I had to re-explain pass interference as a penalty to half my family Thanksgiving. But we won. But not.
That's the toughest conversation. It's explaining pass interference. What's even more complicated is explaining offensive pass interference.
That is a tough one.
That and completing the catch. The Dez Bryant rule.
The Dez Bryant rule is good. What exactly is a catch? What surviving a ground is? What getting 2 feet in is? And then to even dig deeper, how these rules differ from the college game too. Makes it very hard. Think about this. Think about what it takes to just understand the rules of football. If I were to explain the rules of football to someone who didn't grow up watching football, it's damn near impossible.
Right.
And it is essentially a language. Because my uncle never played a sport in his life. He can identify what offsides is in a heartbeat. He knows what holding is. So it's just such a language, and it's no wonder that only Americans like football. It's kind of like us with soccer. We're like, what? Why is this interesting? But we didn't grow up with soccer, so we don't care.
Right. Who cares?
Who cares? This
Not our problem.
It's America. So yeah, last week we took the week off, and I had to endure the Dallas Raiders game, which I got so much hate for, but hey, Dallas, boo fucking who, you won the coin toss in overtime, and you didn't do anything with it.
Right.
So, but much like Mark McGuire, we're not here to talk about the past.
No.
Let's talk week 13. I got some opening headlines. Some teams got on track. Some teams fell off the track.
Ugh.
And Detroit is no longer winless.
Let's start with that. I do like Coach Campbell. I think he's a player. I think he understands because He's obviously been through it as a player, but like you could really tell his whole his emotional state and how badly he wanted this, and I think how bad his players wanted it. So I'm so glad they got that elusive win.
You know what's cool is Detroit is winless, and yet week 13 they're still playing their guts out because they want to win a game. That I think is a little hidden gem into football. Is that yeah, we don't care if we suck, we're still going to try hard every Sunday because we want to get the win. I did experience this. I didn't watch the Detroit game, so the highlight comes on in between the game I'm watching, and I think it was Phil Simms. Jared Goff throws a touchdown, and Phil Simms goes. Jared Goff drops back and throws a. Oh wait, that's not Jared Goff. Oh yeah, it is Jared Goff. He tricked himself. He thought Jared Goff was out, and yet Jared Goff was in, and threw a touchdown pass.
Right.
This was such a cool win for Detroit and such a devastating Minnesota loss for Minnesota.
Right? And it's like, again, it's like Minnesota just shows up for the real good teams, but for the mediocre, they just can't get it together.
I feel like I'm a kindred spirit as a Raiders fan with the Minnesota Vikings in the sense that, okay, it's fourth and goal. Detroit is on the 8. And the Minnesota defender is playing 9 yards deep.
Right.
Like, don't keep him in front of you. You have to stop the touchdown.
That was an interesting defensive call because I saw the replay and like, wow, that slant was like a high school drawn slant. Like he was wide open between two defenders.
Good. So we're in agreement. Good for Detroit. Good to get the win. And in the worst way possible, Kirk Cousins is back. He is back, baby.
He's back.
He is back. Minnesota D is back. Who are the teams you think this week are back on track? I have 2 teams that got back on track this week. I have Arizona and the Rams are back on track. They both won.
That's, Pat, those are 2 good teams back on track. Definitely. I think the winner, Buffalo and New England, the argument is winner of that game tomorrow is supreme. It may be top dog of not only the AFC East but the whole AFC.
We have a great Monday night game on tap for once.
And who would have thought? Who would have thought that at this point in the season, what is it, week 13, that we would be talking about Bills Patriots for supremacy in the AFC.
That's true. If something crazy happens, we're gonna have to have an emergency pod.
But my back on track team. I mean, I can't dispute those. Man, I just had it in my head. But how about the Washington football team? I know you're disappointed, but wow, I mean, they played a tough game on the road, and they're floating, they're hanging around that playoff picture still. So that's a good win for them. 4 in a row,
I think Washington has won, right?
Yeah.
Very hot. Yeah, I have that in my watchables. I also had the Rams got on track against the Jags. Great team to get back on track against. I think Trevor Lawrence next year, he should do something with his hair. He should get cornrows or braids or something crazy just to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be fun. Yeah, the Rams are back. Stafford.
Eagles played a big game with Gardner Minshew, so that's another team that they're kind of floating around there, and they had a few disappointing losses. But hey, if they can build on, I know it's the Jets, and it seems like everyone's picking on the Jets these days, but good for them.
Who fell off track?
Niners, my team.
Your team.
Your team, my team.
I have both your team and my team in the doghouse. We should be in horrible moods this week.
Yeah, Russell Wilson owns property in San Francisco, and it's a team that wears gold and red. So he's continued his dominance against the Niners. Just a very disappointing loss. I was more so just disappointed in the turnovers. Jimmy G turning the ball over, some sloppy throws. Not a good performance.
Before we get to the must watches, off the track fell, in my estimation, Cincinnati, Minnesota, Vegas, San Francisco, and Baltimore.
Oh yeah, Baltimore. That was a disappointing loss.
All teams that took rough
What did you
off the track.
What did you think of Baltimore's play call on the road? Let's go for two instead of tying it up to send this thing to overtime.
I had questions about that because one highlight I watched said the kicker was injured, and in the next highlight I watched didn't mention anything about it, and they were just going to go for it, and they had a great play called, but Lamar just missed the throw.
Yeah.
So, is it possible for Lamar to be the MVP if he sucks at throwing? Because he's good at everything else. He just can't throw. Is it possible? And does anybody even want to win MVP this year in the NFL? Again, it's just going to take. Let's just judge the last 2 weeks of the season. Let's don't even worry about judging these weeks. Let's just wait till week 16 and week 17, and then we'll decide who's going to get the MVP. Because now it makes some sense to now.
Right. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Must watches. I had two. Washington at Vegas and your San Francisco 49ers at Seattle. Let's start with the Vegas one. We're coming off our hot Thanksgiving win. Pat Ramirez was gloating in someone else's house for once.
That never happens. It never
happens. I get to gloat. That was great. Washington is hot. We start slow, as usual. But then we catch a little fire, and I found Darren Waller didn't play in this game. I thought that was a good thing. I am of the secret belief that Darren Waller hurts our team, even though he is a physical specimen. You know how in every football movie, there's a guy on the team, and his name is Hollywood, and he's kind of too pretty. He doesn't want to hit anybody. Darren Waller's our Hollywood. He doesn't want to get hit. He's buff, takes his shirt off, but he doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to play tough. So I thought him sitting was actually going to help.
Wow, that's interesting because I think about one other teams, like I think maybe 29 would want him.
I agree. I just think he doesn't. I don't. You put Darren Waller and Mark Bavaro in a room together. Mark Bavaro's walking out of that room. No questions asked. So I'm feeling good.
And you're talking Mark Bavaro, almost 60 years old, Mark Bavaro.
Right, Mark Bavaro.
Or probably over 60 at this point.
That's right. Mark Bavaro, any age, give me him in a street fight, no matter what. So then we get the lead via field goal. We're not getting touchdowns, of course. We're getting field goals. There's time left on the clock. Washington has to go down. And sure enough, Heineke throws a gift pick six, and the Raider cornerback drops it.
Right.
So I think if you watch football long enough, you need to know if your team drops a pick and that team gets the ball still, you're done. You're done. That is a lifeline. It's like, oh, great. The game was almost over, and now we get another chance.
Right.
We're done. So
we're done.
Washington gets the field goal. Okay, we're down 2, but we still have one timeout and 37 seconds left. Washington kicks off the ball and thus starts my Sunday of frustration. Raider guy gets it at the 2 or 3, runs it out, gets to the 25. That effectively takes 6 seconds. If you call a fair catch, no matter where on the field now, you get it at the 25.
Right.
So he didn't need to run it out. So we lost a play there, essentially.
Yep.
Then Derek Carr goes for the bomb on the first play.
Right.
Which, okay, maybe is a good stab at it, but that essentially takes 2 more seconds than it would off the clock.
Absolutely.
Throw a couple over the middle, use a timeout, and then we have to throw a Hail Mary that doesn't even reach the end zone. So I don't know what I don't know what could happen there other than how else could this possibly go? And thus, can I officially write the Raiders off, or are they going to win next week? And I'm going to be here telling you, like, we're back, baby. It's going to happen.
I would not write the Raiders off. And I think I was Collins.
No, write them off. Just tell me to write them off, please.
No, I don't think you should yet. I think I should really consider writing off my Niners, who just uninspired today. But no, I would not write them off because, they're so, Cincinnati's kind of falling back to they're falling back to earth. Even though San Diego I keep calling them San Diego. The LA Chargers got the win today. They're not exactly playing inspired football either, So the Raiders, you don't want to write off quite yet.
All right, I'll keep them on my Christmas card list for one more week.
But I mean, if it makes you feel any better, they got the same record as the Dolphins. Oh no, the Dolphins have one more loss in the loss column,
That's
so I
right.
think they get their bye week this coming week.
Let's okay, my other watchable was your team, San Francisco at Seattle. And I thought Jimmy G was on that last drive. He was Joe Montana for about 96 yards. Of course, they needed 100 yards, but for 96 yards, he was
96,
damn good.
96 yards ain't going to get you there with
He
that
was
drive.
running the ball. He was throwing. He threw to Kittle like 18 times, and then couldn't get it in. Could not get the
You know,
touchdown. San Francisco
I think
covered.
it'd be a different game if Debo Samuel had been playing. Obviously, he's the superstar for the 49ers. We like this kid, Elijah Mitchell, but he got hurt at the end, running back. Although Wilson isn't a bad, guy that comes in. So, yeah, I wasn't very happy. But I will say the must-watch game for me, especially when I read this morning that Ben Roethlisberger is telling people that this may be his last year in Pittsburgh. Hey, let's get an old-fashioned Ravens Steelers game in Heinz Field. So I watched that one. I mean, obviously I was watching paying attention to the Niners, but watch the Ravens Steelers, what could be the last Ravens Steelers with Roethlisberger in Heinz Field. That was fun. And it was one of those low scoring games for the first three quarters, and then Pittsburgh woke up.
That seems like a matchup that's always going to be tough.
Always.
Almost like Miami and New England, even though New England's always better. That's always a tough
Well,
game.
I want to say now the head to head between Tomlin and Harbaugh is something like 16, 14, and 1 in Tomlin's favor. So I mean, this is definitely a long rivalry, a coaching rivalry. Um,
You know
I
what? We
think
don't talk about a coaching rivalry that much. That's true. I love a good
in
coaching
your
rivalry.
lifetime, what would you say? I mean, obviously in this generation, it's got to be Harbaugh and Tomlin. Same division. Playing twice a year. That's pretty much it. But I mean, wow. Parcells and Gibbs when we were kids. Those the Giants, Redskins had some good ones.
That's a good
Um,
one.
you know,
Parcells and a few, and probably six different coaches is probably a good one in there as well.
that triangle between Mike Holmgren, George Seifert, and Jimmy Johnson when in the '90s. Those were some great matches. Um, Marv Levy and Don Shula. How about that one? That
I
that that
like
one,
that. I
that
like
one was a
that.
pretty good one.
Let me throw out one to you that maybe you wouldn't have thought of. Um, let's go Buddy Ryan versus Bum Phillips. Kind of two just old dudes who probably couldn't run a 40, couldn't even complete a 40.
All right.
Just going head to head and being fucking pissed off the entire game.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a good trash. That'd be a dream one. More. I think
Oh,
Bum was probably already done,
and
but
if somebody is sick, then we insert Jerry Glanville.
Ditka. Put Ditka in
Okay.
there too.
Oh yeah,
Um,
good
but
coaching matchups. Still, it seems like we don't have those so much anymore.
no, and then we were teased with Rex Ryan and Bill Belichick for a long time, and even
Right.
even Eric Mangini was. We were teased with a
That was fun.
Mangenius. They called him Mangenius and Belichick, but that didn't work out so well.
Who's your favorite Jets coach? You got Herm Edwards, Rex Ryan, Mangenius. Who would you go if you had to pick one to coach your team? Would you go? Which one would you pick first? There were some fun Rex Ryan years. Remember those Bart Scott years? Those were fun,
Ugh.
fun years.
Yeah, but
Manginius was fun.
those offenses were pretty hard to watch.
That's true. That's true. They
So
never had offense.
I'm gonna go with Herm Edwards. I like the Herm Edwards, Vinny Testaverde years, Keyshawn
Oh,
Johnson years.
yes, yes. Vinny Testaverde looked younger than all of our grandpas at the time. And
Right.
also, never underestimate the Herm Edwards press conference where he's mad. He's like, "Hello, you play to win the game." That will never be lived down. Oh, let me throw this hypothetical at you. You're a Notre Dame fan. Notre Dame needs a coach now. Brian Kelly bailed on them. What about Ben Roethlisberger's going to retire? Mike Tomlin sees the writing on the walls. He doesn't want to rebuild for the next 3 years. How would you feel about Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish?
I think it takes a really specific type personality to coach both. I don't. I mean, as you can tell me which success stories there have been, both pro and college. I could probably maybe throw out Jimmy Johnson. Was able to translate, but I just think that a lot of these players, when you're playing in the NFL, it's because you've reached the height of athleticism, you've reached the height at your position, um, and maybe to you as the player, the coaching isn't as important as I think it is in college, where you need to motivate these kids and keep them humble, and I think it takes a specific person, which that's why I see coaches like Saban, just doesn't translate to the NFL. Who was that one that left the Falcons for the Arkansas Razorbacks? I forget what his name.
Bobby Petrino.
Petrino.
Oh, did that blow up?
No, that was miserable. So it doesn't necessarily translate. So I can't. If I'm Mike Tomlin, it's more. I think the college coaches get paid more because they're usually like the highest paid state employees, not. But then with that comes you got to be recruiting, the NCAA violations. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot. That's a big stress.
It's a big dividing factor because if you're the college head coach, D1 football or D1 basketball, you are essentially the king of that town. In the NFL or the pros, the players are the king. So it takes a certain personality that says like, hey, I want to be king. I want dominion over everybody. And if I'm a coach, it's got to be college.
Right.
So that is an interesting divide. And in how it translates is always, you never know. There's no such thing as looking at stats or resumes. You need the eye test. It's like, I'll see how I need to see the record. I need to see how they play. So a couple college coach vacancies, head coach vacancies open. So that will be interesting if we get NFL to college to NFL this year. My other watchable, but I didn't have it as a watchable, it just turned into one, was that Chargers-Cincinnati game. That game was weird. It was just weird. The Chargers were up like 24-0. And then I had it in my notes. At some point, Joe Burrow smashes his pinky, and he's on the sideline, and he's practicing throwing, and he's almost in tears. He can't throw the ball. There was one point where he takes the ball back, and the ball comes out of his hand going back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, he's not playing. He's wincing. Then I notice he wears an LSU bracelet on his throwing hand for his alma mater. The offense comes back on the field. Joe Burrow comes right back on the field, and he's throwing the ball like nothing happened. His pinky was all bent as hell. So now I'm thinking, oh, Joe Burrow's becoming a man. The Cincinnati is coming back in this game. And also, I had never heard the officials be on the mic so much in this game. At one point, the official apologized on the PA for the delay. It was the funniest thing. He was like, sorry about the delay. It turns out you can't challenge whatever it was, forward progress or something. And then the Chargers just pull away. But there was an interesting sequence at the end of the first half where Joe Burrow's pinky is jacked up. And they have no timeouts. They throw a pass. And they don't spike it. They run another play.
Right.
He gets out of bounds. They run another play. They don't spike it. And then they get up to the ball to spike it. And Joe Burrow just lets the clock run out.
It was weird.
I didn't understand what the hell was going on. So just a weird game that somehow I deemed watchable. And then I think we had 2 London games this week. I had Philly at the Jets as my one London game. And of course, Giants at Miami, second London game. The 2 totally unwatchable games. And somehow the Philly one was kind of fun.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad game.
Gardner Minshew replaces sad Jalen Hurts.
But the Giants Dolphins, that was terrible.
Do we need
You know what's worse? You know what's worse than watching the New York Giants with Daniel Jones starting? Watching the New York Giants with Mike Glennon starting. That's the worst.
I saw that stat line and I just thought it was a misprint, or I just like my brain just skipped the score, went on to the next one. So do we even need to spend time talking about Indy blowing out Houston?
No, don't even. I was gonna say just let's not bother. Jonathan Taylor. I'm not gonna say MVP. I'm gonna zip
Don't
my
say
mouth.
it. Don't say it yet.
Say it.
Don't say it yet. Indy's going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Let's just say it now. Indy is going to make the playoffs. As much as we buried them and Carson Wentz was throwing the ball to every defender, they're going to make the playoffs. It's just how the season is going to go. So, got a strange week. By this time, week 13, I don't know how many weeks are left in the season, probably another 17 or so. We know enough to know to not make predictions. That's all I know by week 13.
No predictions.
No, do not make any predictions.
No more.
All right, let's go to the questions. Let's speed through these because we have a extra special addition to this week's show. So first question, if the season ended today, here are your division leaders. Dallas, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Arizona. Green Bay and Tampa Bay each have a 4-game lead in the division. So question, are we just on a steamroll road to Green Bay, Tampa Bay NFC Championship game?
No. I want to say that. I want to say that the Cowboys still have something to say about that. I want to say that the winner between the Rams Cardinals is going to have something to say about that.
Okay, I agree because, like I said, week 13, we might as well call this week 2. We know nothing. We know nothing of the NFL. AFC leaders, depending on who wins tomorrow, New England or Buffalo, Baltimore, Tennessee, and then after tonight, KC. So this one's a little more muddled. And
way more muddled. I mean,
all these AFC leaders could not be the winners of any of these divisions.
When the Titans at some point, it didn't look like the Colts were going to be around, and now look,
the Colts could win this division.
It looked like the Bills were going to run away, and now they're behind the Patriots. And now Baltimore is losing to Pittsburgh. Now I'm not necessarily going to go out and say that Pittsburgh will catch or Cleveland's going to catch Baltimore.
Cleveland, this was the best week ever for Cleveland. They had a bye.
They exceeded expectations today, and so I very, very, very muddled. And then, of course, we're left with, hey, guys, Patrick Mahomes is still around. So, he's
right.
still...
Pat Mahomes can still throw the ball 80 yards.
Yeah, so this... Oh, man. And this is going to be one of those playoff years where a home field advantage is going to be important. It's always important in the playoffs in January. But, these teams are going to be so good and matched up so well that it may not be a big advantage as it has in years past. These teams are just going to match up real well against each other.
Yeah, AFC, just put a big old question mark. Baltimore looks horrible. They're in the division lead. KC is in the division lead, except I think every team is one game away from each other in the AFC West.
Hey, if the playoffs were to start today, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Mac Jones, Bill Belichick, and New England.
Hell, I don't even want to write off Jacksonville. We just don't know at this point. Way too early predictions. I already said it. Indianapolis is getting in the playoffs. They're getting in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make that my lock it in prediction for the week that we're gonna review.
But I got one for you.
Okay.
Cincinnati. What?
Oh, go ahead. I'm waiting to lock in my prediction. You may change my mind.
Cincinnati does not make the playoffs.
Lock it in?
Lock it in.
Okay. Should we review? Okay, you say Cincinnati is out.
Out.
Does not make playoffs. I say Indy makes playoffs.
Okay.
Let's review our predictions. 2 weeks ago, we predicted. I predicted Colt McCoy will start a playoff game. You predicted. Are you ready for your prediction 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
You predicted Joe Burrow will win a playoff game.
No, I got him out of the playoffs.
This week, you flopped. They won't even make the
Yeah,
playoffs.
well, I'm an asshole. What do you want me to tell you?
Well, that's why we wrote these down, because we're holding ourselves accountable to our half-brained predictions. All right, make me angry argument of the week. I think you almost already took the words out of my mouth. Seattle owns you. Seattle owns
No,
San Francisco. You
they're
guys
they
are
just
finally having a good season. You were up like 13 points
yeah. We
at
we
some
got
point,
owned. No. It's I'm angry. I'm angry.
and
I,
then
I gotta make you, but I can make you angry. I bet you I can make you angry.
yeah, I bet you can too.
Heineke beat Derek Carr in Las Vegas.
He did. And you know what's great about the Raiders being in Vegas? There is no end to Vegas puns you can use to make yourself angry or
Right,
happy. You can
right,
say it was a bad idea to bet on black.
right,
The
right,
Raiders rolled the dice and it came up snake eyes. There's
right.
no end to Vegas puns, whether you won or lost. So while that does make me angry, I think I saw that one coming. It's like
Yeah.
my arms were dead and I saw you loading up to punch me in the face. So I at least tensed it up a little bit. What are you doing over there?
I know. I got things going on over here.
You're like a mogul. We're skipping franchise 1 year deal practice squad this week because I have a special challenge for you, Omar. While you were just lounging and having a good old time over Thanksgiving, I was actually working on producing a segment.
I like it.
This segment is called Ask My Mom. I'm
Okay.
going to explain how the game works to you. I asked my mom a series of football questions to see what her answers would be. Some of these questions you may find easy. Some of these questions you may find a little harder. Now, you know my mom a bit, so I think you can maybe have an advantage to predict if you think my mom will know the answers to these questions or not.
It's a good
So,
game because I have known your mom since I was 5 years old. So
that's
let's
true.
let's see what happens.
Okay, so I'm going to play some audio for you. I'm going to stop the tape after the question, and we're going to see how you do. Okay? This is Ask Pat's Mom About Football.
Okay.
Question number 1. Here we go. Name 2 teams in the NFC East. Okay, did you get that question?
I got it.
Do you think my mom knows 2 teams in the AFC East? Number 1, do you know 2 teams in the AFC East?
Yes, I could.
Okay,
Cowboys football team, Giants, Eagles.
that's correct. Now,
I would say she's gonna guess. She'll get the Cowboys right, but she will not know 2 teams in the NFC East.
okay.
And I think that's a very hard question for your mom.
You think that's a hard question?
That's a hard question.
Yeah, I would say a non-football fan, that's less than a 50-50 shot. If you know the
Oh,
AFC East.
I'd say yeah. So I'd say she knows the Cowboys. She'll guess the Cowboys right.
Okay, but not a second one.
No.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a listen.
The New England Patriots
Hmm.
and the Baltimore Colts.
You're
Oh,
right. She did not know. She didn't know any teams.
that well, and the Baltimore Colts moved to Indianapolis in 1983. So, but I do like the shout out to vintage football.
Okay, you're 1 for 1. So far, you know my mom and her football knowledge. Let's go to question number 2. Omar, ask my mom about football. Question number 2. How many teams play in the state of California?
Ooh,
Okay,
ooh,
how many teams
ooh.
play in the state
And
of
so let me. I got this one right. We got the Niners, the Rams, and the Chargers.
You're
And I
correct. There are 3.
That's it. There are 3 teams.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna guess 2.
Okay, so
Her
you
answer's
say,
gonna be 2.
thus making it incorrect. She does not know how
She
many
does
teams.
not know. She does not know.
Okay, so you're going no. Let's take a listen.
Football teams? It's just, well, there's lots of teams. Okay.
My mom is flustered.
Really, football teams?
Yeah, all football
These are all
questions.
football questions.
All football.
Okay. Okay. In the state of California. 1, 2, 3. 3.
Oh!
knew it.
Oh!
She knew it.
She knew it.
Yeah,
Wow.
coming a
I'm
little,
impressed.
little bit of a surprise there.
That was awesome.
Okay, you're 1-1.
Wow.
One wrong. Here we go. Number 3. So far, how do you feel about my mom's football knowledge so far? She got one right. She got one wrong.
Well, I was impressed that 3. I was very impressed. So
Me too. I wouldn't have guessed. I wouldn't have guessed she knew. Do you think your mom would know the answers to these?
no,
questions?
not at all. Not at all.
Really? I always thought your mom had above average football knowledge for some.
No, she knows Peyton Manning. That's it.
Question number 3. Here we go, Omar. Take a listen. Name a position a defensive player would play. Okay, we're getting a little more specific now.
She's gonna say defensive end.
Oh, you say she knows it, huh?
She knows defensive end because I think she'll. Your mom's a very smart person, so I think she would just hear defensive. You said defensive player. And say, oh, I've heard defensive end before.
Okay.
Okay, I got this. A linesman. a li-
Can you be a little more specific?
wait. Okay, a defense.
She's trying. She said defense line. I think we should.
Linesman.
There it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna say she got it right.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, the way she.
I
answered
noticed
it,
she did what her thought process is what I said she would do. She just kept saying defense and defensive.
Right. So correct. She got it right.
Okay.
Okay, we're 3 in. Here we go. Next question. O.J. Simpson went to what college?
She knows this. She knows the story. USC. She knows USC.
You're going yes. She knows.
She knows. She knows. Hey, it's your dad's school.
Yeah, that's true.
She definitely heard some story or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. That this seems like your most sure answer.
I'm sure she's heard your dad say something like, I can't believe he's a Trojan.
Well, you know my dad. He loves to gab. Okay, here we go. Let's see if you're right. You're going with yes? Let's
Yes.
see if my mom knows the answer.
USC.
There you go.
You're right. 100%. 100% right. You are 3 correct, 1 incorrect. We're halfway through. Next question. Name a current player who is not Tom Brady.
Oh, shit.
All right. Name a current player who is not Tom Brady. Does my mom know the answer to this question? What do you think? What's going on in your head right now? I see a lot of wheels turning.
The only player I think she'd be able to say, because he's been in the news lately, is Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so you're going to go, yes, she knows another player besides Tom
I'm
Brady.
going to go, that's a tough one. I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers. She's going to say Aaron. That's the only other one that I could think she'd possibly know.
So you're not only saying, yes, she knows it. You're calling your shot of who she's going to name.
I'm calling the shot. She's going to say Aaron Rodgers, and I hope she doesn't say one of the Mannings.
Okay. So you're going, yes, she knows. Let's see what she says. Does my mom know a player in the NFL who is
She
not
knows
Tom
Aaron Rodgers. That'd be the only one.
Oh. Aaron Jones.
You are correct.
Oh!
And you got the first name right.
Oh, but what? Good for her. Well, I should have thought El Paso. She's
Right.
probably heard some good stories. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that was awesome.
Okay, so far you're nailing this. You've gotten 4 right and 1 wrong. So let's continue. Name any current coach.
Oh.
All right. Can my
Oh.
mom name a current NFL head coach? What's going on in your head?
The only one I can think of is Bill Belichick that she would know.
You don't seem confident though.
I'm gonna say no.
You're going to say no. My mom does not know a current head coach. You're going to go no.
Like it's one of those things that like if I were to like if after she says no, then you say Belichick, she'd be like, oh Belichick, that one I did know. Oh, yeah, you're one of those. But I don't think for this, when you asked her, I don't think she got it.
Okay. You're saying no. Let's see if my mom knows a current head coach.
Urban Myers.
She knew Urban Meyer.
Oh!
How about that?
Wow.
I'm going to give her credit, even though she said Urban Myers. I say Urban Meyer is
I
acceptable.
got to give her credit.
I give her credit.
You got to give her credit.
She got it
No,
right.
no. Here's the question. The follow up. We got to follow up. We got to do a follow up question. Where did you? In what context did she hear Urban Meyer? She wins. She proved me wrong.
Oh, you didn't know my mom follows Urban Meyer's head coaching college career from Utah to Florida? Oh, you didn't know that? No, my mom reads the Inquirer and the Star.
Yeah, she
and
that she thinks he's a pig.
and watches TMZ. That's where my mom knows Urban Meyer. What are you, crazy? Like, hey, Mom, who's your favorite college head coach? Urban Meyer runs a 3-4 defense, of course, always. Here we go. Next question. Let's see if you can get back on track here. What is the penalty for holding? All right. Does my mom know the penalty for holding?
Ooh, that's a. You can see it's broad because it's a 5 or a 10.
You're right. When I was reviewing these questions, this was one of the gray area ones.
She knows it.
You're gonna say she knows it, okay?
Is her answer going to be first down? which it could be, but not always.
Right. Well, this is another gray area because if it's offensive holding, that's never
Right.
I
I want to say she's at least going to guess 5 or 10 yards. Yes, she knows.
You're saying yes, she knows. Okay, here we go. Does my mom know what the penalty is for holding? Omar says yes.
15 yards.
Oh.
Correct. So, the penalty is 10 yards. You guessed yes. My mom did not know it. So far, you've missed 3. Okay, you're 4 right, 3 wrong. We're going into the home stretch. Bo Jackson played for what team?
Oh, she'll know the Raiders.
You're
She
saying
remembers.
yes.
She remembers you liking them, probably. Yes.
Okay, so you are testing my mom's love for my knowledge of football in my youth. This could end really
that's
well
a long
or
time.
really horribly.
That's a long time ago, but yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, you're saying my mom knows what team Bo Jackson played for.
I'm not even sure who Bo Jackson was.
Can I pause it for a second? Listen how my dad cannot be quiet in the background. I told him, all right, Dad, I'm going to ask Mom some questions. So, just be quiet. My dad cannot shut up. He is constantly, he's flapping garbage bags in the background. You'll see in the next few questions. I asked my mom a question and my dad goes, oh, I know. I'm like, Dad, I'm not asking you.
Right.
All right, so you got that one wrong. She didn't even know who Bo Jackson is.
That's awesome.
Okay, it's an acceptable answer. Whose nickname was the Playmaker?
She will not know that.
You're saying no. Do you know the answer to this one? This one was tougher than I.
Michael Irvin. And I say that because when I do jury selection, and I do talk about Michael Irvin when I talk about the dangers of false accusations and the legal issues he went through. Um, and I'm noticing less and less people, even men that seem to be football fans know the playmaker. So
I just
yeah,
love that you're incorporating 90s football into your
into my yeah into my real business. Yeah, I do.
how deep a cut do you go into your football knowledge with these jurors?
That's it. I talk about Michael Irvin, how he had this terrible reputation and everybody hated him, all non-Cowboys, and we all thought he was a criminal. And then this allegation came out where this dancer said that he, along with Eric Williams, sexually assaulted her. And I thought to myself when I heard the story that he was guilty. Well, it turned, and I thought that they were going to convict him and send him away to prison for a long time. And I basically tried him without really knowing the evidence, and it turns out she made the whole thing up. So, that's how I talk about let's not jump to any conclusions just because you're accused of something. The state still has to prove it, and so that's my Michael Irvin story, and it seems to hit home. But I'm trying to grasp for other things to make an example of because less and less people know a playmaker.
Do you have any legal proceedings or legal examples with Ricky rushing waters that you
Let me see what I can do.
that you incorporate into there? All right, we got off track there. Does my mom know who the playmaker is? You say no.
No.
Let's listen.
Ooh, I don't know. I'll take a guess there. The playmaker. Okay, the playmaker. Playmaker. I don't know. Tom Brady.
There you go.
You were correct. She did not know who the playmaker was. And for the final question, you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 right, 4 wrong.
Dang.
Let's see if you can end up on the winning side of things or you go dead even, much like my Las Vegas Raiders at this moment at 6-6. Final question. The uprights refer to what?
Ooh, good question. Ooh, that's a good question.
Does my mom know what the uprights are?
Oh, that's a good one.
I told you this is a new game sweeping the nation, and it is not easy. This is Ask Pat's Mom.
Between the uprights. Has she heard that? She's heard it, but does she remember where she's heard the upright? She does not know it. I think she does. Hold on. Don't lock me in.
All right, I'm not locking anything in. Remember, once I lock you in, I cannot go back.
She knows it.
You going yes? Lock it in?
I'm lock it in.
For a winning record in Ask Pat's Mom, Omar goes yes. Here we go.
Goalposts.
One more time.
There you go.
You're correct. She got it. You went 6-4 for the Ask Pat's Mom segment. Excellent work. You do indeed know my mom and her football knowledge.
My favorite answer was the Baltimore Colts.
Well, I think she did pretty good. She answered some questions that surprised me a little bit, like with the head coach.
Yeah, so, that was awesome.
So good for my mom. I'm not done with this game. I have more in the coming weeks. So don't.
That's fun.
Don't feel like you've got this nailed yet. All right, let's speed along to the awards of the week. Sunday MVP. I struggled with this one. I so badly wanted to give the Sunday MVP to Detroit, but I figured I can't do that. I can't in good conscience give the Sunday MVP to a team who's won one game in December. But I can give my Sunday MVP to just December football in general. It's cold. Playoffs are coming. College football is ending. So I say December football gets my Sunday MVP. And plus, everybody, when it comes to stats, sucks. So I'm just going to give the MVP to just the general December football overall.
I like that. I think that's a great MVP and took the words out of my mouth.
So you agree? You're going to go with December football also?
Yep, I am. I love December football.
Way too early coach of the year. As much as it pains me after this week to say it, let's give it to Ron Rivera. Way too early coach of the year. Everybody likes him. We haven't looked at his emails. He hasn't gone to any nightclubs after games. I say we go Ron Rivera.
I'm gonna go Bill Belichick. They're number one.
Oh, Bill Belichick. He's winning the way too early coach of the year, huh?
Yep.
Wow. I am so curious who is going to get coach of the year this year. It seems it's an MVP too, because right now the odds-on favorite for MVP has got to be Aaron Rodgers. But there is no way they will ever vote for Aaron Rodgers to get MVP.
Right.
So I can't wait to see who gets it. I cannot wait. And it's nice that we actually can play the games and see who wins the Super Bowl instead of voting. But might be the biggest competition of the season, is who actually gets the MVP. And will anybody vote for Aaron Rodgers? So I went Ron Rivera. You went Bill Belichick. That leads us into our final segment of the night for the Sunday Night Talk, Legal Ramifications with Omar Carmona. My legal question for you this week. Tell me about your very first case you ever tried. Take me through.
Good one. I remember it very well.
Do you? So you took, this is your first case you ever, tried as a lawyer? Were you nervous? What was the case? Take me through it.
I was extremely nervous. Now when I pick a jury, no matter how serious the case is, I have maybe 10 words written. I have a list of 10 things. I just have the word or the 2 words describing the thing I want to talk about, because I've done it for so long, and I, for so many years now. But my very first one, I wrote out my jury selection part in these small note cards that I could barely freaking read when I got up there and did it. And it was like so awful. It was like one of those like, "Good morning. My name is," state your name. Awful. It was so bad. And because an older lawyer told me, "Hey, only one time in your life can you tell a jury with a straight face, hey, this is the first time I've ever done this."
Wow.
So I did pull that one out. I represented his name. Well, it was a Carlos. I'm not gonna get to his last name, but his name was Carlos, and he was charged with deceptive business practice, a misdemeanor, where it was alleged that he was like a contractor, and a lot of these contractors, especially here locally in El Paso, they get paid, and then they don't bother doing any of the work that they were paid for, which is it happens a lot in this town. Well, anyway, this guy, the victim on this case, was a couple. The victims, there was a couple, and they were the guy, the husband was just talking about he was washing his car, and then that my client just came up to him and handed him a business card, and it said El Handyman. and so
I thought you were going to say it said the Playmaker.
Right. And so then the state showed me the pictures of the work that he did do and supposedly didn't do. And I was like, I'm looking through the photos, I'm flipping through them, and I'm like, okay, that looks fine. Hey, that work looks done. That work looks done. And it's one of those, I flip one over and I'm like, I'm looking to the side like, hey, pillars aren't supposed to be that slanted, and so it was one of those. And I learned very early on, don't be so legal with jurors. Like, don't try to impress them with your knowledge of law or your vocabulary. They're
90s football.
Yeah, that's probably more impressive. But don't try to blow them away, acting like you're the smartest person in the room. And so, and this case was one of the few cases that it's okay, in my opinion, to blame the victim. And that's what I did. I said, hey, this should be a civil case, not criminal. And hey, the person at fault here is, what kind of idiot does business with my client? And I'll tell you, and I'm one of the, I don't know what the percentages are. I don't know what the percentages are, but I can say my very first jury trial, I won. And
Wow.
I remember when I said that line, like, who does business with a guy like this? El Handyman. And juror number 3, who turned out to be the foreperson, he was a middle-aged man, and he was with his arms folded, and he's looking at me like this. Like, yeah, I would never do business with your client. And it's not your client's fault. He's just trying to earn a buck. Not guilty.
Wow. So you were undefeated out of the gate.
Out of the gates, I was undefeated. Won my debut.
Did you tell your client, El Handyman, that this was your first trial ever? Did he know that?
You know what? I did it leading up to it. He found out it was my first trial when, like, I was picking the jury, so I couldn't imagine what his face must have been like. Oh my God, you gave me this rookie.
Wow. What a story.
Yeah, it was fun.
You got your client off, you released note cards,
Yeah.
and you blame the victim.
Yeah, you never want to. You can only imagine. You never want to blame a victim.
Interesting.
That could be offensive, but this is one of those few cases where where you could get away with it.
I see. Well, I don't know if there's any deleted scenes in that movie, The Lincoln Lawyer, but if there is, that should be one. Kanye says, you know what? It's a great legal strategy. Blame the victim. And then he shuts the briefcase and says, I rest my case.
Yep.
Walks out of the courtroom. Well, that was your very first trial. How old were you?
I was a year out, so I was 26, 27.
Did you look young? Did you
Oh, I mean, it was way before this hair went gray. So I still had black hair, and I was probably weighed, 30 pounds less. And, but yeah, it was fun.
Full head of black hair and just a lot of ambition from Omar Carmona. Oh, that was an excellent legal ramification.
I wish I still had those note cards.
You gotta frame those note cards. Like, you gotta find them.
And I will say, one of the most thoughtful gifts my wife Dana ever got me was she went back and found that judgment of not guilty, and she had it framed for me.
Oh, I was gonna say, you know how businesses like frame their first dollar? There we go. Yeah, you gotta.
I don't know where. It's got to be somewhere here. It's got to be somewhere, but I have my very first judgment framed.
Very nice. Omar Carmona, the undefeated Omar Carmona. Both our teams lost, but however, you did win your very first jury trial.
Yeah.
So that counts.
I did.
That definitely counts.
I'm never going to forget.
Legal ramifications. Wow, I think we have a new leader in the clubhouse for best story of the season. So, well, that was week 13. We didn't really talk a lot of football, but that's all right. Nothing really happened anyway. The Sunday night.
If I can make a recommendation, get your dad on to do those questions.
It's coming. It is coming.
Thank you.
There's a lot of gold.
I think the fans would want to hear that. Let's give them what they want.
Can I tell you my dad's new thing? This is what my dad does now. My dad texts me college football reports. My dad is not into college football. He doesn't have a favorite team.
And that's why I think the game would be so cool with your dad, because I'd like to see the way he tries to BS his way into getting these answers.
My dad is essentially if Clark Griswold meshed with a Tasmanian devil. My dad is very hard to pin down. What he knows, but his new thing is he texts me college football reports. He says, Michigan plays in the Big Ten Championship tonight against Iowa. Alabama against Georgia tonight. He's like, well, number one, why do I need to know this? Number two, since when is my dad the beacon of college football news? And then I find this out. He's sending the same texts to my other brothers. He's copying and pasting all his texts and just randomly sending them out. So that's his new thing. He sends me college football reports during the day before, game. So he's very hard to predict, that guy. He's hard to describe. If I'm bringing someone to meet him, I have to prep them to what
Yeah.
my dad's capabilities are. It's like, all right, my dad will interrupt no less than 17 conversations to ask you if you're good. My dad will never sit down. He will clap way too loudly at television.
Right.
And at some point, he will yell and leave the room. That's just how he is. Just how he is. That's just how he operates. He is a utility player when it comes to craziness.
Yeah.
That's just how it is, and that's what my dad does. He's the beacon of college football information. So, more segments coming with Ask members of Pat's family. Okay, last segment. Let's predict Monday night real quick.
Ooh.
Patriots at Buffalo. Are they at Buffalo or are they at New England? I don't even know. I lost track of this season.
Oh, let's hold on. Let me look at that. That's a good question.
It is New England at Buffalo. Buffalo is giving 2.5 points. The over-under is 41.
Oh, I want to say Buffalo wins. Last second field goal, 20 to 17.
20 to 17, so they do cover. If there's
Yes, they'll cover. 24-21. Make it 24-21.
Okay, I always pick that the team will cover, and I'm always wrong. So let me take the opposite. Give me the Patriots on this one with the points, and it's Monday night. Give me under 41. So I'm going Patriots. You're going Buffalo.
Yep.
All right. Week 13 for the Sunday Night Talk. That was Omar Carmona for me, Patrick Ramirez. I will see you for Week 14, buddy.
Let's do it.
Okay, that is it. That is the show. That is Week 13. That is the Sunday Night Talk. Hey, what'd you think? Legal ramifications. Omar's very first case. To be honest, I didn't even know how cases worked. Well, that's why we ask Omar the tough questions. He's my general counsel. He gets the tough questions. That's why he makes the big bucks. I don't pay him a thing to be on here. He is here out of the kindness of his own heart. So, call that a bonus. A legal bonus. El Handyman, wherever you are welcome. That was Week 13 in the NFL. That was Ask My Mom. New segment, new game. Hey, ask your own mom NFL questions. How do you think she'd do? I got more coming, so don't you worry. Check out my other shows on my YouTube channel, not to mention stand-up dates coming up so you can catch me live as well. And I will see you there. That was the Sunday Night Talk for Week 13 in the NFL. We will see you next week for Week 14. Me and Omar Carmona will be here. See you then.